what Lord can change. So Lord has, Jesus as a whole, if you look at it, he is like a mighty God. We serve a God who is very mighty and powerful and all. But if you look at the transformation that happened in Bible, I just wanted to emphasize on only one character in Bible, which is the biggest character that you can ever imagine, which is none other than Saul, who turned into Paul. That's a radical transformation that you can see in Bible, which I wanted to talk about for a few minutes and then hand it over to prayer. So I just wanted to turn on to the verse, Acts chapter 9, verses 1 to 5. Could share. And then, so it talks about Paul and how he encountered God. So if you look at it, the verse says how Lord can change. When Saul was breathing out murderous threats against the disciples, he went to the high priest and asked him for letters to the synagogues in Damascus, so that if he found any there who belonged on the way, whether men or women, he might take them as prisoners to Jerusalem. As he neared Damascus on his journey, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. He fell on the ground and heard a voice say to him, "Saul, Saul, why do you persecute me?" "Who are you, Lord?" Saul asked. "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting," he replied. "Now get up, go into the city, and you will be told what you must do." So these are the things, like if you have read the Bible, you might have read this multiple times. This is the transforming story for about Saul, who turned into Paul. So let's take a little bit brief of Saul. Who is Saul? So let's take a brief of Saul, whose name was changed to Paul. Saul was born in a prominent Jewish family in Tarsus, which is the capital of Rome. Currently, it's in, they call it like current in the world, it is like Italy in the modern day, but that's where the Rome was. His parents were like prominent citizens of Rome. Like how we were born in India and we get citizens in like America and become an American citizen. That day, Rome used to be like country wherein you can, like people across the world were born in different countries, they go get citizenship of Rome. So Paul's parents were citizens of Rome, and he's Jew. So it's a little different combination. You can see, like in even here we have a lot of immigrants across all the countries, but there are certain countries where the immigrants are very less from certain countries. Similar to that, probably they don't even give to that country or whatever, right? We don't know what it is, but Jews and a Jew and a Roman combination, they say it's very rare, and the Paul was one of it, right? So also in Bible, what we figure out is Paul is like a 5 to 10 years younger than Jesus. So which means when he was growing up, he would have met Jesus or he would have heard the preaching of Jesus. And also what we read from Bible is he kind of was a very intelligent man. He was a Pharisee, and he was jealous after the law, what Moses has written from hearing from God. So he was devoted to heritage and tradition. So that is his message. And he was very religious, blameless. He's a Pharisee. He was very jealous for faith. He was rich from heritage, born into tribe of Benjamin. He is well educated. He has a lot of qualification that nobody can deny in the world. But and also, if you look at the thing about him, he was trained in the feet of Gamaliel. Gamaliel is one of the greatest teacher of the days where Paul lived. But only one thing that he had is he had bitterness and hatred. He hated anything and anyone who was threat to the things he believed. He believed that law, whatever is written by Moses, that is correct. If anybody who is opposed to that, he will go fight and persecute them. That is what happened. So I think you got the background of Saul. Now, if you go back to the words, it says he began the journey on the road. He got like a small army. It's not, I don't know, army or a band, whatever it is. He went with that, and he got all the permissions, everything. All he went was to arrest, beat, or kill any of the followers of Jesus Christ. That is what his purpose was, and that's where he went. Now, suddenly, there was, if you look at verse 3, suddenly a light from heaven flashed around him. So we don't know where the light came from and stuff. I mean, he didn't know like where the light came from. Suddenly it flashed and knocked him off. And second thing, God knows how to get the attention. So he was kind of persecuting. God got the attention. God showed up and interrupted all of Saul. At that moment, verse 3, God showed up, interrupted all of Saul's plan. He showed up, rearranged his calendar for the entire life. Probably he would have put like a big schedule. I want to do this, do this, do this. Everything changed. Suddenly all the education, the plans, hatred, everything gone. He was like an accuser. Now he became accuser himself. He came to hunt people, but he got hunted down. So if you see in chapter 5, he was asking, there was a voice that came from heaven. That's what it says. So it was not like an ordinary voice. It's a different voice. But he didn't know that was Lord. That's the same thing that we have. Sometimes God may speak to us, but we didn't know that was God who is speaking to us. That's a problem that we all have. Similarly, Saul also didn't know that it is God. So he's asking, who are you? Like kind of, he's asking, who are you, Lord, in the verse 5. And Jesus is telling, like, kind of, if you go somewhere, they'll ask, like, give me your ID card. So he was asking, give me your ID card, show me, who are you? And then Jesus saying, I am the one whom you're persecuting. So then, I mean, like, so if you look at it, he didn't persecute Jesus. He was trying to persecute the believers of Jesus. But what Jesus is saying is, you are trying to persecute me. Meaning, like, if you persecute the believers, it is like persecuting Jesus. So if so we are kind of Christ's body. So if we get persecuted, or if you get go through all the troubles, it's him, he himself take it for us. That is what it says. And Jesus says, I'm the creator of the universe, and that is me who is talking to you. One more thing, surprise thing, is only only God and Paul know that they are talking. Others couldn't even know what went wrong. At that moment, what changed instantly, eternally, with a flash of light was Saul was a threatening person. Now he's trembling. He was in control. Now he's under God's control. So he was able to see the future in his own power. Probably he could have become a governor, or he could have become a big shot, a mayor, a chancellor, whatever you call it. But now he's blinded, and there's nobody around him. People have to help him to go around. So he's blind, and there is no future for him. And you see, he got changed. His name got changed from Saul to Paul within like a few minutes. He was kind of going for persecution, but it got changed in a minute. And after that, he got prosecuted himself for standing up for God. And he wrote so many books in the Bible. And not just that, he preached across the world. And because of Paul's preaching across the world, I mean, he's the one who took God's word across the world. And that's how God's word got spread. The one who was hatred against the one who believed Jesus became changed completely, and then started proclaiming his word and take his word across the world. Again, let's compare that to our life. Our life may be messed. or we would have been living a messy life. We would have had issues. We would have problems. We would have gone through a lot of troubles, everything, right? But then God one day showed up, or He will show up in case if you are in trouble right now, and He can change anything, any moment. And if you give our life to God, He can do. I mean, you can compare ourselves to this. We would have been doing our own thing because we thought whatever I'm doing is right. That's a notion that everybody has. Sometimes we think, okay, what I'm doing is right. Okay, I'm following this. This is what the government says. This is what this says, whatever, right? And we just continue to follow. But sometimes we don't realize that that's not right. Sometimes we kept boasting our talents because, like Paul, he's well educated. He might have been boasting his talents. He had a good position. He might have been boasting about his position, but it's not about that. It's about God. And if you relate to Saul's life to us, everybody is a sinner. Nobody is like a perfect man in the world. Everybody is a sinner. And when we were sinner, God is the only one who has changed us. And that's including me. I was not a perfect man. I had my own sins and stuff that I committed, but Lord changed me one day. And that's where I'm standing in front of you today. And in case if you're going through all the trouble, don't worry, God can change you. I just wanted to give one small illustration and then finish. There was one big company, and the boss was worried. And the company was not doing good at all, like because he's like a worrisome person. He was worried too much. And then at one point of time, the company was not doing good. It was going very bad. And they had to reduce the staff. Like they were going very bad to a state that they had to either file a bankruptcy or go out of business, kind of, right? Again, this is like a small company. They were doing good, but because he was too much worried, they weren't doing good. Because he kept continually worrying, thinking always negative. He wasn't even thinking positive, always thinking, okay, what will go wrong, what will go wrong, what will go wrong. But then suddenly there was some transformation. All the people looked at him, and he suddenly changed worry-free. He didn't, people were like thinking, wow, what happened to you? Why are you worry-free? Like, you used to be worried all the time. He said, I'm leading a happy life now. I'm not worried. But they couldn't believe, what the hell happened to you? Wait, how did you change? This is unbelievable. And then suddenly he started going prosperous also. Like the one which went down started going up. Then he said, I did only one simple thing. I hired a guy for $1,000 per week. Again, I'm just giving an illustration. And he takes care of all the things, and I don't have to worry about anything. They said, you cannot afford $1,000 because you went poor by losing everything that you have. I said, I don't have to worry about that, because that guy should ensure that he gets paid by doing his job. He has to bring profit so that he gets paid. So it's his problem. Similarly, sometimes we might get worried by everything that we have, all the problems around us, but you don't have to worry. Just leave it to God, and God can change us. God can change our life, and God can change anything, any moment. Glory be to God.